Alright, so if you're from the channel, this is an Audi A7 that we built on the channel. My name is Bailee, and this is
Chance.
And this is actually his car. Now, we built the car through a quick series of probably 10 total days of building the car to get it to where it is today. Technically, it was like 6 months because we both work a ton and we don't have that much free time. That being said, we never talked about how much this car cost. And cost is something hard to explain about this car because he didn't just rebuild the car, he decided to rebuild the car to make it more of a show car. But first, let's go ahead and talk about where the car came from.
Alright, so I've had this car since August of 2019. I bought this car for my wife, and she drove it around for, I'd probably say, 6 months. We just kind of left it stock, and I wanted to get a set of wheels. So, picked up a set of Rohana wheels. After that, we went with an airlift 3-piece system. That was probably 8 months down the road, which me and a couple of my buddies put into the garage. Car was totaled August 14th of 2020. I was in Colorado for work. 4-car pileup on a street here in Tulsa. Just a bad deal. Wasn't her fault. She was number 3 in all the whole situation. So the front end damage, I don't say that bad, but the rear end is where the majority of the issue was, which is, as you can tell from our videos, that's where the majority of our work has happened. So after it was totaled, I couldn't decide if I wanted to just let the insurance take it or if I wanted to rebuild it. So I kind of went back and forth with the insurance company for 2 months. The reason I really kind of started fighting for it was because it had the wheels on it. I didn't keep the stock wheels because they were messed up. I didn't have the stock suspension because the front struts were blown out. And the springs were, of course, stock ride height, and I didn't want to just go coilovers on it or anything like that. So we bought the 3P, put that in, and I already had ARP Stage 2, upper and lower pulley. So between the software, the parts, I mean, I had more than $5,000 already wrapped up in the car that I would not have seen a return on. After some shrewd negotiating, I got them down to like $6,500 for buyback. So they cut me a check for, I don't remember the exact number. It almost paid the car off. Got the car back with my savings and the check from the insurance company. I paid the car off. So then I decided I'm gonna rebuild it. That pretty much wraps us up as far as the backstory and then the rebuild. So if you have any questions about the rebuild, you can go back and look at the videos. We're just gonna brush over the majority of the parts. Most of everything will be in the links in the description.
We have 4 categories of like how the parts are sorted. One's needed, like you have to have these. One is needed, but it's like upgraded. And then there's the ones that are kind of needed that we could have gotten away with. And then there's the ones that are absolutely not needed. And we'll tell you the pricing of each category after we go over it, and then we'll tell you the final amount at the end. But the first one that we're going to talk about are the absolutely needed. Trunk lid was $870, and that came from a parts car. We ended up having to get rear structure parts, which were $1,200. That includes like the tub and a few other parts that we're able to save from a parts car. He got the front bumper support and the bash bar. That was $350. That is OEM and new. Then we had to get the headlight support braces. That was $100. The rear bash bar was $200. The rear taillights, which weren't OEM, but they pretty much seem OEM, were $785 because the original one was like $1,800 or something. The rear bumper, which was saved from a parts car, that was $100. The battery fuse, which is crazy to me, $240, and that's for a fuse, but if you crash your car, it's a fuse that does pop and you're gonna have to get that. Then underbody braces came from a parts car. That was $100. He had to get a spoiler actuator, actually 3 of them because they kept coming broke. That was $440, and even the one that came in, it was still broken. We had to repair it, plastic weld as you saw in the video. Then he had to get the seat belt, sent in the original ones. To rebuild those, it was $300 with shipping. And hinges and modules were $175. Last but not least, we had to get tools. Between both of us, we have a lot of tools. Mainly him, he has a ton of tools, but we still had to get like a grinder, we had to get a seam sealer, and he wanted to get a new welder during this build. Tools did cost $850. And for all the needed parts, that did turn out to be $5,910.
All right, so like he said, there's 4 categories. The second one that I'm gonna go over is gonna be parts that were needed, but you didn't have to spend as much money. So the first one would be the front bumper. The front bumper was $1,200. It is an RS7 style front bumper. And then along with the front bumper is also the grill. The grill alone is $300. Also an RS7 style front grill. Another thing we had to give for the front end is the hood. The hood is a $2,000 partial carbon fiber Darwin Pro. It took 6 months to get here. And like I said, that was $2,000. You didn't have to spend $2,000. The front bumper OE could be like $600, the grill for like $100, and you could get a stock hood for about $600. And one of the last things in this category is going to be the exhaust. You can find an OEM exhaust for like $200. This was $700. It is from Top Speed, and as a total for this category would be $4,220.
So the next category is actually pretty small. It's things that are kind of needed, but we would have been fine. And one of those is going to be like the window tint. When he got their new rear hatch from the parts car, it was so bubbled up. It was so bad. So the tint cost $200. The next thing was a sub box. The sub box, he could have technically just not done it, but he did have a factory one that got destroyed. The sub box was $230. And the exterior wrap, we probably could have painted it pretty cheap or found another way, or just left it completely blank. Exterior wrap was $1,000. That did include a lot of wrap, a lot of extra wrap and black wrap. We could probably wrap 10 cars in black on the roof. 10 roofs.
Yeah, 10 roofs.
10 roofs, which is what you're gonna use it for.
Yeah. I mean, you could save the wrap money if you just waited for a parts car that was the same color. That was kind of where I got that, was it wasn't needed, because the only thing that wasn't painted on the car would have been the, the parts we put on.
So that category, which a big portion of it was that wrap, it was $1,430.
And since we're switching off, I'll be going over the last and most expensive portion of the Excel sheet, which is 100% did not need to buy these because they were either just fine on the car or
they weren't needed.
Weren't needed at
just
all.
Not needed parts. It was
Not
just to make it a show car at this point.
Yeah. I went a little overboard.
A little?
Quite a bit overboard. So let's start with the interior wrap, which was $200, which I bought extra of in case I wanted to do another car. Just always buy extra. Then I have the heat exchanger, because we've upgraded quite a bit of parts for the car as far as performance mods. That was $500. The RS7 style side skirts, which was $750, because the stock ones were completely fine, not hurting the wreck at all. The rear diffuser, because the bumper we got from the parts car had one, that was $600. A steering wheel, that was another $600. Didn't need it at all. Stock one was fine, the airbag wasn't blown. Paddle shifter extensions, which are $50. They look really, really nice. Just miscellaneous stuff with the interior, which totaled out to $700 because we changed the whole interior from tan to black. A Starlight kit for the headliner, which was about $100 between all the kits I bought. The engine cover, which was custom made, that was another $600. All the Maxton design parts, which were $700 in total, which include the front lip, the side skirts, and the trunk lip. The extension. Throw that in there. One of the biggest parts in this category would have to be the Ultra Charger. So the Ultra Charger was $1,100, which includes a throttle body, intake, carbon fiber intake, an intake horn, and software. Now we're getting down to just the last couple things. Paint for the exterior parts, which include a total price of $250 for the mirror, the door handles, and the shark fin. You want to go ahead and just paint them black. That way, if we ever wrap the car again, super easy. You don't have to mess with it, and you're not worried about the wrap peeling up.
It looks good. It looks good.
It looked really, really good. And to go along with his thing of the sub box, you didn't need to spend that much. You could find a stock sub box with a sub for about, I think what we said, like $200 or $230.
Pretty cheap. What it is.
But since I went with the upgraded sub box, I also got a speaker, amp, wiring, and everything. That totaled out to $400. So instead of being in it $230, I'm now in it almost $650. But the 10-inch hits really, really good. So for a total of the 100% not needed parts would be $6,550 that I did not have to spend in any way possible but I was dumb and did anyway. We have a little miscellaneous box of just, stuff. Hey, we got to go get this. So we just run to the auto parts store. We collectively added about $200 in just side stuff. And I'm sure we're a little short. I'm sure I forgot something along the way, but roughly for the car, what it has costed us totally altogether is $18,110.
That's crazy, but you did buy a car that values way higher. It still values way higher than what we spent total, from when you bought it to building it to this today, right?
For what I have in it,
or is it close?
It's about the same. It's about the same. If it were to just total out right now, it would be worth about what I have in it. So I'm not upside down in the car. It's a totally different car now.
Yeah, it's a modified car. You were missing small details here and there. Guarantee. I know we didn't even bring up the sequentials and the mirrors, but it's hard to get everything. It looks good, and it actually won a trophy. So we took it to Import Face Off of Tulsa and got Best of Luxury. So that's really cool. And that's with the hood not even being wrapped.
Yeah, the hood. We haven't wrapped the hood yet because Bailee used my spare wrap for a livery on his M4.
My bad. I thought I saved enough for his car.
I told you didn't. I told you didn't.
I know. We're a little short. So.
And we can't wrap it because they're out of stock.
Come on, Vivid, hook us up. Come on. I know you got some hidden somewhere.
So that's the total for this car. This is officially phase 1 of this car. This car is now a dedicated show car. I rebuilt it for my wife, and she does not want to drive it anymore. It reminds her too much of the wreck. So this will be, like I said, dedicated show car, and phase 2, probably about a year, because I got to stack some money back up, will be a lot crazier than it is right now. The car makes 500 horsepower. It's a mid 11-second car already. I'll keep the performance how it is. It's just going to get a little bit, we'll just say, wider.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the future of this car. And speaking of wider, we got some Mini Cooper content coming up. I think you'll be very excited for that. I don't have an exact date yet, but it's soon. It's probably one of the next big builds on the channel.
Yeah, we'll just say parts are on order.
Yeah, I'm excited. If I'm excited, I know you guys gotta be excited. So that's it for this video. I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.